Welcome everyone to Fans on Point. I'm Blake. This is Dayveonne.
This is the final part of Get Out.
Get out. Now.
Just make sure you don't go to the sinking place. Neither white or black.
From my perspective, it definitely, I think, missed the mark on the social satire. I think it played with its subject so straightly. It portrayed the subject so straight and with so little winking at the audience that it actually came across more as exploitive than as.
Okay.
So that's my perspective.
Yeah. I don't think it was exploitive, but I respect your opinion.
That's fair enough.
But it doesn't seem like it was very exploitive. It was basically on point of explaining, like, how do certain people feel when they go out to other people, unsure about culture and customs. So
right, but I mean, as somebody who has probably dated white women, have you ever felt that this girl is maybe recruiting me to so that her family can lobotomize me?
Yeah, you would. Well, I would say this. There's moments where me per se, depending on the girl's personality, like let's say me and her has a clashing in the beginning,
right,
and then next thing you know we become friends,
right.
Then I will question ethics. Like I'll be a little bit like, okay,
what, she would be too forward with you, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
She's okay. I would say stereotypes, but you could say just portrayals or opinions seem to come out of sort of the subconscious in the black community, and the portrayal of white women in this was not so much the one that I get from black men, black guys, but I've actually heard it more from black women.
Yeah,
where their attitude is that these women are being predatory. They're preying on our men. They're trying to take our men away. And
technically that's not true, but in this film, this is what the scenario.
Although as a white guy, I will say I don't mind being preyed upon by Allison Williams, but that's neither here nor there. That's just a disclaimer.
As a black guy, I wouldn't mind either. But
see, there's agreement here all the way.
But here's the other concept: we have to understand the main character in this film. Also with his whole storyline, his backstory about his mother,
right,
and how she pretty much, we know she died, but we got the gist of the story of that nobody went out to look for her. They said that if they stood, or if he tried to look for her,
right,
there would still probably have been hope.
Right, she had been hit by a car and laid there basically dying for several hours.
And I think
if he had left the house and looked for her, they might have found her.
So
right?
That was the whole deer aspect. He was reminiscent of his mother.
Right. But now, did you see that as having greater meaning other than just being sort of the plot device, sort of his psychological weakness that they used to brainwash him?
I think they didn't even know about that. They did.
Who didn't know about that?
Yeah.
No. The psychiatrist's mother used that as a, she when she hypnotized him, she used that as a.
Oh yeah, she did.
That was
right.
The idea is that you have to have this weak psychological point on somebody to do the brainwashing.
Because when he fell, he saw the TV screen.
Right.
And he kept just trying to swim back, but the more he tried,
that was go to the dark place or whatever it is.
The
sunken place. Right. Yeah. And but did you see that backstory with his mother as having deeper meaning than that, or just being sort of his particular weakness?
His particular weakness.
Okay.
Now the breakout star of the film, I will say this, had to be his best friend.
Oh yeah, well he was the. But what was great about that though is, and I will say, I will give Jordan Peele credit for this, is that not only was he funny, obviously, but there was a certain amount of there was a little bit of wink, wink, nod, nod with there, because he's joking about what Jordan Peele is playing seriously, essentially.
Yeah.
So that part was good.
White people do some freaky stuff.
He goes in front of the police commissioner and everything with that. Yeah.
The police commissioner, the detectives, and he's like, yo, it's this white chick, and they live in this particular area.
And they're kidnapping them and selling them as sex slaves. That was good. No, he was good. But, yeah, so.
My issue was the ending, how he went back, and it's like he showed emotion to the girl that put him through all that issues.
Oh, Allison Williams at the end. Well, she dies anyway.
Yeah, she bled out.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, for him to show emotion like that, why would you show emotion to somebody that almost basically cut half of your brain and almost put it in somebody else's? Well, I understand you spent I don't know if they spent a couple of times in a relationship with you. After that mentality, I would have been like, I would have left that.
That plays into the whole, the horror aspect, because she was this perfect actress. I mean, she was this deeply in love, she was, in his mind, was this deeply in love girlfriend. They were probably maybe going to get married at some point and so forth. And then all of a sudden, in the span of 12 hours, she turns into this dramatic Hannibal Lecter level psychopath. So, yeah, I mean, that obviously is going to mess with your head. You're not going to be able to just switch off all those emotions. But doesn't he choke her? Almost choke her to death?
He almost choked her to death.
Yeah.
Shoot, I wouldn't have choked. I would just let her.
Which is but that's another, because what is one of the big taboo images in society, which is, the black man,
it's aggressive.
Choking or raping a white woman or something.
Yeah.
And here we're portraying it, but the idea is we're applauding the black man for what he's doing. So, there's a subversive aspect to that. But like I said, I mean, it seemed that Jordan Peele was just looking for every one of these. In a way, it was sort of the same way that Quentin Tarantino did with Django.
Yeah.
Where they hit on every one of these hot button, sort of racial myth, taboo, stereotype thing. The first guy who ever did this was John Romero. Did you ever see the original Night of the Living Dead?
Yes.
And you remember the ending to that. That was a very transgressive movie. The protagonist was a black guy back in those days.
Yeah.
And the commentary at the end was great, because this guy manages to survive everything, and then he walks out and gets shot by, the white sheriff.
Yeah.
It's a zombie or something. There was definitely subtext there, and I was expecting a similar subtext.
What was your actual rating for the film? And then I'll tell you mine.
Well, it depends on how I'm rating it. If I'm rating it as just a film, I would give it, maybe 3 out of 4 stars. I thought it was well made. I thought it was well directed. I thought it was well written. I thought, from a technical standpoint, it was a great film. It was put together well. My problem with it is, an opinion based on the storyline and how it was handled, rather than. So I would give it 3 out of 4.
Okay, 3 out of 4. Me, I would give it out pretty much like at a stance, probably at A-.
Okay.
A- as a fairness. For right now, this is all the time we have. This is our movie review on Get Out. And my name is Dayveonne.
I'm Frank.
And subscribe to our channel right down below.
Check back for more interesting reviews on controversial issues and movies and video games. And like us on Facebook, comment down below.
And Patreon's coming soon.
I love Patreon. He's a good guy.
And keep it here. We're signing off.
We out.
Fans
on point.